Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to talk about the difference between playing on a keyboard and mouse versus a controller from Monster Hunter Rise playing on a computer. Now, it's quite crazy. So what I'm doing here is I'm fighting Anjanath with a mouse and keyboard right now at the beginning of this fight, and later on I'm going to swap over to my controller. Now I'm obviously a lot better on my controller because I've played for 250 hours on the Nintendo Switch, so I should be good on a controller because I've played this game before. However, on a mouse and keyboard it feels so awkward and weird. Like there's some controls that actually make no sense at all, like middle mouse button to use the wire bug, but then left click, and if you're someone like me who uses the index finger for middle mouse button and left click, and then if you want to use like your other ability, you got to use middle mouse button and right click, which are like you have to change how you hold your mouse to play this game if you're going to learn with the default controls. So here's some of the controls that I actually changed to make playing with mouse and keyboard a lot better. So this first one here is just for ease of use. So the lock on target one here in the melee weapons keybinds, as you can see in the top left of the screen here, lock on target used to be Q, I changed it to left control. Obviously the left control is to actually access your item menu when you're like running around so that you can change your items. I always find it awkward to like move my pinky down there. So I changed Q to that instead. So it's like right next to my W key so I can access my items quite quickly. And when I want to use an item, I just press E, which is literally on the other side of W. This makes much more sense to me because if I want to lock onto an enemy, I'm just going to hit control once anyway if I'm going to use that. The other thing that I want to change here is the weapon wire bug reticle, the hold one. This used to be a middle mouse button. I changed this to R. You can change this to another key on the keyboard. Just make sure it's not being used somewhere else because otherwise you're going to have to fix everything and go default and change everything again. And it can get quite frustrating. So I have basically my wire bug ability or button is on R. Okay, so when I press R, I can use my left click to do the wire bug, my right click to do wire bug, and then there's another one, the one wherever I'm aiming, which is that other button on my mouse as you can see on the screen right now. So this did make things a lot more playable, though it does feel awkward sometimes, like when you're on the ground and you need to wire bug after you just get smacked on your back. You actually have to hold R or the wire bug button and then press spacebar instead of left click, right click, or the other mouse button. It's very weird and you gotta get used to it, but that's how Monster Hunter Rise was for me, especially on a controller when I first started playing it. I was garbage. It took me like maybe 50 hours to actually get just an understanding of how to just control the character without fucking up every single move that I do. However, if you do have access to a controller, I would highly recommend actually playing with one. From my experience, it's actually really easy to use a controller in this game, and once you've given it some practice and you've like just learned the muscle memory that goes along with it, I find everything to be a lot more quicker and concise, and everything makes sense. Everything is pressable and doable with your hands, and all you just have to do is react and press the right things at the right time, and that comes just from muscle memory in general. So actually playing this game with the controller is the best experience from my side. If you only have a mouse and keyboard, you can try and change those controls and you just got to play like a ton. I think the only major benefit that I noticed playing on a mouse and keyboard was having the mouse. You can control the camera a lot easier than when you're on a controller, because when you're on a controller, it's quite difficult to actually control your like camera at the same time because you use your thumb to press all the attacking buttons to move over to the right joystick to like move the camera around. Sometimes you gotta like stop attacking and quickly swap across and do that, and that can delay you some time, that can potentially cause you to get hit. So ultimately, your major focus is to always focus on what the monster is actually doing so that you can react to their attacks. Once you know what their attacks do and how long they take, you'll know when you have openings to strike and beat the monsters in the game. I hope this video was helpful some way in learning the differences between controller and mouse and keyboard, and what controls you can actually change to make mouse and keyboard feel a little better if you were struggling with it like I was. Let me know down in the comments below whether you actually prefer a controller or a mouse and keyboard for Monster Hunter games. I'll see you guys in a future one. Thank you so much for watching.